Aloha, I'm Kimo Hussey with my very, very good friend Mike Chock.
How's it, everybody?
And we're here on a very, very special mission today. And before we get to that, let me just play you a little bit of what we're going to share with you. Sean was so very, very excited because yesterday he got one of these guitars, and today he was excited about finding some guitar people to show it off and share it with you. But guitar people were busy today getting ready for the election. So Sean resorted to our special missions people. That's Mike and I, because as you probably know, Mike and I are ukulele people. But these instruments are so very special. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Mike, who will tell you why these instruments are so special.
Well,
this one first, Mike.
Okay. Well, first off, I guess the old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, we can learn a lot from this old dog. So this is 100+ years old at the very least. And what we see here is very unusual. It's a ukulele company making a classical type guitar. And you can see it set up with the slotted peg heads, the whole classical bit. Yet this guy, from my vantage point, I can see it. It has a radius fretboard, and that's done on acoustical guys, not on classicals. Classicals are normally flat, but I think the intention for this guitar, as you can hear it, is to emulate the Q style, and it does that really well.
It does it beautifully.
Beautiful sound. So it's not quite a classical, yet it is a classical. And I just like to point out a couple of things that are pretty unusual. One is, look at this puppy. It's an all core body, top and back, and its resonance is incredible. So it doesn't have to always be spruce and cedar. It can be whatever it is. On that one in particular, let's see. Yeah. His actual neck is not quite classical either. This width at the nut, I don't know what it is, but it's probably less than 2 inches, which is, a classical width at least. So that's pretty unusual. Yet you keep and retain the classical stylings of the Spanish, where you have the traditional rope binding repeated in the soundboard and then in the rosette, which is just super cool. So it's done very simple, but elegant. It has the pyramid shape here back on the bridge. And this guy has actually a saddle compensation, which is pretty interesting. Again, on a classical, you won't see that, but on an acoustical with steel strings, you need that to get intonation. And that's the other thing. I don't know what bracing is. I was told by Sean it's probably Kamaka kind fan style, but not an X, because it has steel string, and that's pulling at least a couple 100 pounds on that bridge, easily double that of a nylon string. But
so whatever bracing that worked about 100 years ago.
And this guy is 100+, and it's still going, and you can hear the resonance and the sweetness that comes out of this guy with a lot of volume. So I think as builders, you never have to forget, you shouldn't forget that we all get where we are on the shoulders of others before us. And as you can see from 125 or 100+ year old constructed guitar, it has features that we still emulate today. And this is where all our knowledge from sharing comes from, and we get to build from a basis that is as fine as this.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention about this guitar, because I'm not accustomed to it, is the shape of the neck,
The neck.
the back, because it's kind of a rather than a half circle kind,
Yeah.
it's kind of a V-shaped thing.
Yeah.
So I can feel the ridge
Yeah.
all the way down the fretboard.
Yeah, I think it's a start of something very interesting when you have this V. I know Martin did it in their old baritone, the big baritone ukuleles. They were actually 1.25 here, but with a V. But it is interesting. I'd love to know what was going on when he actually put this thing together, because again, he had something specific in mind, and I think really the music he was thinking of is kihualo, and very, very interesting usage and build.
It's just so beautiful.
rings.
Just to listen to it.
Plus the bugger, he always put more dots too. Never mind just the 12. I want to add a couple more down here too. Just balance out design. So very interesting.
In that day, do you think that the norm was like 12 frets to the body as opposed to 14, which is more the
Yeah.
norm today?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you go by guitar history. As it came over to America, with Martin being the foremost builder at the time, they were all classical bass, period. Martin was the one who put acoustical strings on, and it came out with the X brace just for more rigidity because of the pressure that the steel string put on. So, well, I don't know how long Martin started, but it wasn't very long after that this baby came out, because this is old, 100 plus. It puts you in the early 1900s, so you would think that...
That's amazing.
yeah, I mean, even to get these steel strings, you have to special order it somewhere, and bring it in. It's very interesting, yeah.
What are some of the things that maybe you can think of that make that would make an instrument last 100 years? That's a long time, and it's a long time for it to last and still sound like this.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of a custom-made instrument, is that when you make it, you've got to realize that it's just not in the now. You want it to sound nice, of course, you just finished it, but you're really making it to endure the generations of whoever have the opportunity to play it. And you would love your instrument to be, 50 years old, about 100 plus. I mean, that's just a bonus,
Yeah. Cool.
So you gotta give props to Mr. Kamaka here. He did something right.
Very nice job, Mr. Kamaka and Kamaka family. Boy, you guys,
you got that one.
You guys come from very good stock. Play out one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So sweet. Yeah.
Speaking of sweet, now we've got some great news, because you know what? We get to share another one of these guys with you. Go ahead, Mike. Why don't you grab this guy, and I will put this in its place, and tell us about that guy.
Okay, so this is the second guitar in Sean's possession that came from the Kamaka factory 100 plus years ago, and This one is also very, very unusual because, like the latter or the former, it is all koa, and which is interesting. Very nice selection on the top. It seems like a higher grade koa. A lot of curls on this baby. Yet, if you look on the sides, I can spot flat grain growing here. So, side construction, it need not be quartered. Flat sawn is fine. It does the work. They've done deflection tests actually on both quartered and flat, and there's really no difference in strength. But here's an example of a flat sawn, and yet 100+ years still going. So this guy is very interesting. You'll see from the back of the neck, it's not as radical as the former that we looked at that had that beautiful point in here and the triangle the neck that you saw. This is more flattened out, and this one is more in keeping with a classical style guitar. Wide runway up here. I mean, it's like at least 2 inch up here. And again, 12 fret construction, built at saddle straight across. There's no really slant intonation for the saddle position. So actually, this was more in keeping with the Spanish builds of before, historically. Again, slotted heads, a little narrower, a little more elegant. This guy a little wider, little different.
The body looks a little bit like longer. Isn't
different body.
Oh.
And I like this body. Looks like a little bigger. It's I heard you play it, and it goes on like forever. It's just the resonance on this is really kind of incredible. And that's what you want, what I like my instruments to do, to really have a voice that's not only deep, clear, but resonant, and that's what you're looking for, because a player like Kimo can really make this puppy talk. So when I see this, it's really easy to shake your head, because it's like, gee, this guy is old, and they've done things that I've not seen. I've seen a lot of fingerboard tapered, usually fat from this side and more tapering this side to get a little more play on the bridge and saddle. This guy, it almost looks like the opposite way, where you're fatter in here and going thinner in here.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it works out the same way to get his placement and action where he wants. So, and then this guy has really low action. I guess playing this would be very easy, just because of the way they built it. And again, same as the former, more play on the rope binding, more of the traditional stuff. I don't know why Kamaka stopped doing rope, in the mid century. They went to solid bodies, bindings, maybe for economical reasons, and maybe for
They should have kept making guitars too.
Yeah, and they should have still kept going, But this is a rare item to say the least, because not every day you're going to see an all core.
Absolutely.
And this old, playable, and really no real deformation going on, So very well built. I'll just hand it over to you. You can give us a test drive on this baby.
It's so wonderful to be able to play this, and it's a privilege for me to play this. So I wanna thank the Kamakas for making
it happen,
this possible. And thank you too, Sean, for giving Mike and I opportunity to do this. We're ukulele people, so we're thrilled to be doing this. It would be so wonderful if somebody built tomorrow a time machine, so we can go back and talk to Mr. Kamaka talk story with Mr. Kamaka and has made this. One thing I would like to say about these guitars before I play this one is having the relationship that I think we all have, growing up in Hawaii and appreciating Hawaiian music and kiho'alu. You know, it just sounds to me like both these guitars were made specifically for kiho'alu.
Yeah, it sounds like home on the islands, you know.
Yeah. Stay tuned, because it won't be long before Sean is going to bring some guitar people in to share these guitars with you again, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful experience. Aloha.
Awesome. Yeah.